Dad, just continuing on, I came back from Mauritius after the accident, having walked out of the hospital, having been dead 15, 20 minutes. I flew back into New Zealand, and I remember distinctly that both of you were there at the airport, weren't you?
Yes.
In Auckland to pick me up. Yeah. And Karen was there too, wasn't she?
Yes, she came.
So both of you were there, and what condition did I look like? Can you remember?
Looking as though you needed a good meal.
He looked terrible.
Yeah, well, the poison was still working in my body, so I looked pretty wasted, didn't I?
You certainly did.
And physically, I'd lost a lot of weight, so I looked pretty gaunt.
Yes, very, very much so.
And do you remember my forearm where I'd been stung?
Yes, you actually showed us your arm.
When we got home, wasn't it more?
We-
When we got home back to Hamilton,
Yeah.
you showed us then, and you could see on your right forearm the actual scar where it actually, the tentacles had come across and
Yeah.
hit you.
Yeah.
And that was there. Anyone could see that.
That's right.
And then remember I put vitamin E cream and aloe vera.
Yes, you tried everything.
I tried everything to try and get rid of the scars. It's a bit
It took
of,
some time, yes.
oh, it took time. Well, they have faded over the years now.
It will.
Yeah, and so now, I mean, there's nothing really. There are a few white marks in certain light that you can see it.
Well, all scars disappear after a period of time. I've had scars where I've cut my hand. No scars there at all now.
Yeah. But initially they did look quite bad, and I remember I did need feeding up, didn't I?
You can actually see the actual lashes as they came across your forearm.
Yeah.
You can see where they struck you.
Yeah, it looked like it had been whipped across
It
the
did,
forearm.
Yes, that's just what it did look like.
And if you look in some of the photographs, you can see that in Australia people have been hit by them. It's like the red marks over the forearm, like you've been whipped. And then welts where the actual tentacles really had the poison gone in. But yeah, they did fade, and I remember you did feed me up, and then went back on the farm, didn't I, with Sharon,
That's
my
right,
sister,
you
and Wayne, and just started milking cows. And particularly over that first year, my body was pretty knocked around, but at least working back on the farm,
You've got a very good cook here.
yeah, I've noticed. I've married one who cooks quite well too. The trouble is I've got a farming appetite and a bit more sedentary lifestyle. So that was good. And then I do remember also I felt God tell me to read a Bible, and I remember coming into your bedroom that night and saying, you know, could I read a Bible? Remember that?
Yes, I did.
I think Mum was sound asleep, wasn't she?
Probably.
My Bible was always sitting on the table next to me on the left-hand side. Wasn't
Yeah.
it?
So I ended up grabbing yours, didn't I, Dad?
Yep, you did.
Yeah, because you said I could use yours, and I remember distinctly going in, and over the next 6 weeks I read. Was it quite an intense time having me in the house?
It was very intense for us. In some ways, we've been quite happy for you to go surfing.
He even tried to give me the keys to the Commodore, I think, to go to a club one night. But anyhow, I did read the Bible, and I remember you coming in and just, when I told you my experience, you then commented on how you had that experience and felt to pray for me, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Yeah, there was an amazing time in those years.
That was the Sunny Hills in Hamilton.
In Hamilton, yeah. And then after the farm, I left, didn't I, and went out into the mission field and started doing missionary work.
You did Youth of the Mission, wasn't it?
Youth of the Mission,
For the mission.
Anastasis.
That's right.
And then I went to Singapore, didn't I, and went on staff there in a church. So
Yes.
in the last 30 years I've been in a few countries.
I think you're the most travelled person I know.
So yeah, thank you. It's just good. Some people just sometimes like to hear from a third party, or you know, people who are directly involved, what took place and what they saw.
What they need to expect if they ever have the same experience is to be patient, because if you're not patient, honestly, you could knock him on the head and give him a swift boot up where it did hurt the most, and ultimately he'll come around.
Yeah, well, it was such an intense experience and so life-changing. Would you say my life changed from that point on?
It certainly did.
Yeah, it changed all right.
From a nightclubbing atheist to quite
Well,
different.
it went back to Mum's first words when you were christened, wasn't it?
What were they,
She
Dad?
told you to
Oh, in a confirmation.
confirmation, yeah.
Yeah, if you call out to God, He'll hear you.
Yes, and that's what we all did.
Yeah, and from your heart, which is the key.
It's true.
So that's amazing, isn't it? Doesn't time sometimes feel like it was just yesterday?
It does. And I look back on old photos that get quite nostalgic. And then I look in the mirror and I think, is that the same person?
We were looking at ourselves just the other day.
Our wedding
And I said,
photos.
gee, I was thin then.
We both said it actually. Yeah.
Well, I think what's so amazing is that time is quite short,
It is.
and it does tend to flash by.
It's like a passing parade.
Yeah. And you've been created for eternity, so your inner man feels as though it was only yesterday, but your physical body, when you look in the mirror, goes, uh-oh,
Exactly.
it's
Uh-oh.
completely changed. I've noticed that. I'm getting up near 60, so I've suddenly realised, but you said I'm still young when you're 82, 83.
She's the young one.
She's the young one.
She's the young
You marry them young and they keep you young, don't they?
Yeah, that's right.
Well,
young.
well, bless you, thank you. You folks are attending, the Presbyterian Church, aren't you,
We
here
go to Presbyterian here.
with Pastor Ray?
Right.
Ray Costa is now the moderator for the
For
Presbyterian
New
Church of New Zealand.
Yes,
And so, lovely church, isn't it?
it is.
Yeah.
We really love going there.
Yeah, and Lisa was baptised, our eldest was baptised at the Presbyterian Church, wasn't it? Just before we went to London, so, yeah, very good church, lovely folk, and,
The
yeah.
congregation are lovely too. They're
yeah.
all good sorts.
Yeah, and I've just been impressed with Ray as the minister of that, and
He always reminds me of you actually.
is that right? Yeah,
No.
he's, don't say that. Could be a bit flattering. Just,
Other way around.
Ray wouldn't like to hear that.
No.
but Ray is now the moderator, and so
That's right. We don't see so much of him actually.
He's on it for 2 years, I think.
yeah,
But he gets back and comes through once in a while. But
yeah,
it's usually about a month.
yeah.
And then he'll do a service. Then
Mm.
off he goes again. He's in Malaysia, or he's in China, or he's in
Yes.
England.
He's a bit like me, isn't he?
Yes.
All the
Yes.
churches in New Zealand he travels
Yeah.
to, and he's a busy boy.
Well, lovely to be home,
Yep.
and God bless you guys, and thanks for sharing.